Okay, guys, Sean Diddy Combs, aka Dr. Love, has made a statement with regards to the viral video, and we're going to get right into it. Now we have a couple of bombshells, guys, on the Sean Diddy Combs matter, but we have a quote from the Diddler that indicates the following. I am disgusted with myself, he says. It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that, he says. I was effed up, he says. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable, he says in a self recorded message posted on Instagram. He also says, I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then, and I am disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, he says, and go into rehab, he admitted. He asks God for his mercy and for his grace. He goes on to say, I am so sorry, but I'm committed to being a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. Now, Combs did not reference Cassie's name in the video, but we all know who he's referring to. Now, why did I know his legal counsel would advise him to admit fault? Yes, agree with your adversaries quickly, admit it, get it out into the open, and they can no longer, accuse you of being a monster. Basically, it was a dark time in your life, and everyone has those times, and you ask for forgiveness, and that'll be that, right? I knew it was coming. I absolutely knew that was the angle. Now, Diddy, that admission would probably work if that was the last time that you put your hands on somebody or the last time that you did some other really dark and evil things. But of course, we know in 2016 that happened. You made the admission recently. What happened between 2016 and 2024? Have you been blameless since then? Has the therapy worked since then? I don't think so. Okay. So we're going to need more than just an apology. And I'm sure Cassie and her husband are not moved at all by this admission of guilt. Okay. So now we have an admission and a possible apology from the diddler. Also, we know that nothing can happen to him, as we'll talk about it in a few moments, because the statute of limitations has what you call told, right? Or expired. So we're going to get right into it. But as to his apology, that would make perfect sense to me as a woman if after that happened in the therapy and him asking God for grace and mercy, he became a better person for it, right? Because things happen in our lives sometimes, depending on our culture, what family background, neighborhood, geographical locations, all of that impacts us sometimes as far as, things that we do that we're not proud of. However, we're talking a grown man. And also, it looks like since 2016, when this allegedly happened, it's my opinion that he may have gotten worse. So that's just based on what's in the media, but God knows what the true facts are with regard to who this person is. But am I buying this admission? Absolutely not. Just my opinion from a woman's perspective. Now, this segment is going to go deeper than just the video that surfaced where the diddler is allegedly seen assaulting Cassie. And I know we've seen it a million times. I know I have, right? But we're going to delve into why the district attorney's office has made a decision not to bring any charges against the diddler for his alleged assault on Cassie. And also, we have the letter from Cassie's husband, and it is hot. So we do have to ask ourselves, did the letter from Cassie's husband precipitate this alleged admission? Just a thought for something you to chew on while we're going through the scenarios of what happened with the state's attorney's office. Knowledge is power, and when you see these cases, you want to know legally what's really going on behind the scenes, and it'll tell you a lot about why certain decisions are being made. Now, let's get right into the story. So, as expected, the LA District Attorney has released a statement indicating that Sean Diddy Combs will not be charged for the 2016 Century City Hotel attack on his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And so, to cover all bases here today, everything that we say is simply alleged. So, as you might know, CNN obtained security camera footage of Combs brutally assaulting Cassie inside the now closed InterContinental Hotel in Century City back on March 5th, 2016, allegedly. Now, the video is everywhere, and it shows Combs wearing only a towel and some socks, throwing Ventura to the ground and kicking her repeatedly. Now, he then grabs her purse and a large bag before kicking her again and dragging her away. It's so crazy, y'all, because I don't even think we have to say alleged or allegedly anymore, because the diddler has now acknowledged that particular video. And so technically, I guess that's our out to not have to say alleged. But we're going to say a lot of other things. So just forgive me, but I will be saying alleged or allegedly. So just be patient as we break everything down. So, citing the statute of limitations, the district attorney's office said it did find the video disturbing, but charges could not be filed due to the amount of time that has elapsed. Now, here's the quote from the district attorney. We are aware of the video that has been circulated online allegedly depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman in Los Angeles, the statement reads. He goes on to say, we find the images extremely disturbing and difficult to watch. And then he says that if the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately, we will not be able to charge him, as the conduct would have occurred beyond the time frame where a crime of assault can be prosecuted. And we'll get into what that statute of limitation means, but let me say this first. You guys might remember when Combs' mansions were raided by Homeland Security a few months ago, right? His attorney, Aaron Dyer, called the raids a gross use of military-level force, and that Combs is innocent and will continue to fight to clear his name. Now, could you even imagine being a defense attorney representing the lowest of the low-life offenders and then getting them off for the most part, from such savage and ruthless crimes, and then actually sleeping at night? Now, that's just a sidebar, but here are a few questions that come to mind regarding the 2016 alleged assault by Combs. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. Our goal is to reach 5K this week, and I would appreciate you supporting me in reaching this goal. I love the crime genre. It's my passion. Yes, you can call me Mrs. Sherlock Holmes of content creating. Now, back to the story. And we will definitely break down what the statute of limitation means so that you will understand why the district attorney's office's hands are tied with regards to this alleged 2016 assault. And also, as promised, we have the tweet from Cassie's husband that we're going to read to you as well. So please stick around and then ask yourself this question. Where did that video really come from, right? It's been in existence since 2016. Okay, my thoughts are that the feds released that video. That's just my opinion, allegedly. See, the feds are not to be played with. Like, people don't give them a lot of credit and they make all of these sidebar jokes about them. But let me tell you something, they are not to be tried. So, you know that King Combs released this song allegedly taunting the feds, saying that the evidence was really in a house next door, yada, yada, yada. Somebody, King, done told you wrong, buddy. Yes, the feds are very strategic. Okay. And so the release of this video after so many years, in my personal opinion, and allegedly, was strategically dropped by the feds for many reasons, but mainly because it completely destroys his credibility. Now, try to find an untainted jury in the US that will not see him for the sadistic madman that he is. Now, I'm talking anybody from the 5-year-old child at home, the dog, the goldfish, everybody. They're going to think he is a madman because that video depicts someone who has no human feelings for other people. And that's the reason why I think the feds dropped that video at this particular time. So first of all, I have a few questions, right? A few questions come to mind. We have to ask ourselves, why didn't the hotel report this back in 2016 when it occurred? Now, we know it's being alleged that Diddy, Dr. Love, or whatever name he goes by these days, paid the hotel for the footage. Now, see, two things can be true at the same time. For instance, you can be rich and stupid at the same time. And I'm guessing that he was under the impression that that 50K would suffice to make the video disappear. Well, we see that that's not the case. So apparently, someone at the hotel on the night this alleged assault occurred, either security or another department, released the video to Combs in exchange for the alleged 50K, but also saved the master copy. So the diddler, being the brilliant man that he is, assumed, as he has probably so many times before, he could make the video disappear. Well, he won't get away scot-free, I can tell you that. Now think about it. What the diddler will lose by virtue of lost revenue from endorsement deals or other collaborations, friends who have stood with him previously in solidarity, and then enabled his sadistic behavior, will likely prove that the release of this video is way too damning for even them to escape the shadow banning or being canceled by the community for being associated with him. Even with the kind of friends who will turn a blind eye to this type of violence will become fewer and fewer. So what does that mean for Cassie? Well, we know that Cassie has been paid a handsome multi-million-dollar settlement in her civil suit against Combs earlier this year. So she has, at the least, some justice there. And we all know that this wasn't a one and done situation. What I mean is that this video was likely the tip of the iceberg, and there are likely more videos, and some of them will likely surface as well. Now, this particular video, according to the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, can't be used against Diddy because it falls outside the statute of limitations for the state of California. In case you're not familiar with what that means, it simply means that each state carries a time frame by which a person has a window of opportunity to bring charges or allegations or a claim against someone. And also that applies to criminal charges that also have a window. So that window in California, I believe, for this type of alleged crime would be 3 years. So the district attorney's office would have only 3 years by which to bring charges against the diddler for this particular incident. And we know that that window has already closed, being that it occurred allegedly in 2016. They would have had until 2019 to file the charges. And that is assuming that the DA would have categorized the attack as such. So, unfortunately, this crime that allegedly occurred back in 2016 falls outside the statute of limitations. Now, for the record, there are other crimes in California that have no statute of limitation, meaning regardless of when it occurred, if you're found guilty, there's no window by which a person could escape justice. And those crimes include taking someone's life or a violent SA attack, if you follow me. So that means that Dr. Unlove will escape justice as he has so many times before. But remember, his escape is but for a moment, as I am confident that his nefarious and sadistic behavior has no bounds. For those who are like him and assume that they can buy their way out of anything, will eat the fruit of their own way soon enough. And it's been proven over and over again that people like the Diddler, they simply can't stop themselves. They just can't. So what does that mean? That means that the system, the judicial system, must stop them. They are narcissistic and feel an entitlement that places them above the law, allegedly, right? And keep in mind, that's my personal opinion on the matter. I am not sure if you've heard, but Cassie's husband recently released a tweet that expresses his disdain for men who abuse women, and he apologized to women who are not protected and are exposed to the animals who abuse them. So his letter starts out by addressing its target audience, women and children. He goes on to say, men who hit women aren't men. Men who enable it and protect those people aren't men. As men, violence against women shouldn't be inevitable. He goes on to say, check your brothers, your friends, and your family. Our daughters, sisters, and mothers and wives should feel protected and loved. Hold the women in your life with the utmost regard. He continues, to the abusers, you're done. You're not safe anymore. You're not protected anymore. The men by your side are just as weak. You're so miserable with yourself that death would be considered a kindness. Ooh, and that is a drop the mic moment. My goodness. I believe the letter was written with passion and from the heart, and he expresses his rage for people like the Diddler, who has gotten away with these types of deviant behaviors and hidden behind their money, and others who have protected them, and express that the people who have protected him are just as weak. End quote. Stay tuned for more on the deeds of the Diddler. And for all things true crime, remember to hit subscribe and click the notification bell for all updates. And please don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me what you think, or tell us what you think about the Diddler's alleged or perceived apology and admission with regard to what happened with video. So leave the comments below. I really want to know what your thoughts are, and please be nice. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but 2024 is the year of the reveal. And as such, many have declared that people that have gotten away with this devious type of behavior in the past will no longer escape justice. It's just God's notice to the wicked that I'm coming for you. So if you think you are above the law, your days are numbered again. And it's just my prediction that the Diddler won't be the only creep who won't find a hiding place from their malicious and inhumane dirty deeds. They will be exposed.